This is Borna Ćorić, one of the rising stars of men's tennis. The 17-year-old Croatian is the reigning US Open boys champion, having claimed his maiden junior Grand Slam title in 2013, a win which propelled him to the #1 spot in the junior world rankings.
My dad used to play at a tennis club back in Croatia when I was a kid, and sometimes I would go and watch him play. I really liked it. Straight away I loved the sport, and ever since I was a little boy, I've taken it pretty seriously. I've always wanted to be the best.
Borna was raised in the Croatian capital Zagreb. However, since 2012, the teenager has divided his time between his home in Croatia and this training facility just outside London. It's the home of the Junior Tennis Coaching Foundation, an academy that devotes itself to nurturing elite teenage tennis stars. However, the decision to move here away from his family and friends was not an easy one to make.
It was hard, but it was also exciting, as it meant trying something new and gaining a new experience. I was both happy and sad, really. At first, it was quite difficult. I didn't know anyone, and it was a new language and totally new culture. But I knew it was an opportunity for my future, so I was very grateful. It's not easy to find the right balance, but we always try to find what's best for me and my tennis career. That has to be the main focus of everything I do.
It's certainly been a steep learning curve for the young Croatian since moving to North London. Whilst most teenagers rely on the help of their parents, Borna often does his own cooking and housework. Although Borna's father travels to tournaments with him, it's his coach Ryan Jones who spends the most time with the youngster.
With Borna, it's great. I mean, we have a really good relationship, and we formed a good relationship quite early on. And I think that also makes a huge difference, you know, not just the coaching, but being able to have a decent relationship to someone, because you could have a very talented coach, but if the bond isn't there between the coach and the player, it might go in one ear and out the other.
The move to train in the UK has certainly coincided with a step up in Borna's development as a tennis player. In 2013, Borna reached the semi-finals of the first two junior Grand Slam events of the year, the Australian Open and Roland Garros. He also reached the quarter-finals at Wimbledon and won 4 futures events on the ITF Tour.
He's made a lot of changes. He's improved a lot. He's got quicker. He's matured a lot. It was evident that he had a lot of ability with his hands, and he's always used his skills to play tennis, but not really put the hours in of discipline and hard work. And I think that's what's changed a lot in him this year.
The highlight of Borna's season came at Flushing Meadows at the US Open Juniors in September. After seeing off Germany's highly rated Alexander Zverev in the semis, Ćorić defeated Australian Thanasi Kokkinakis in the final to claim his maiden Grand Slam title.
Before the tournament, I was feeling tired, and I wanted to move into seniors tennis. So we discussed not even taking part in the event. But in the end, we thought that it might be a good idea to play, and it turned out to be a good decision. I was obviously thrilled. It was the biggest win of my life. I was happy for myself as well as my team, because I know how hard we worked to have this success. It made all the hours of training worthwhile.
Of course, it was very satisfying, not just because of him winning the US Open, but just because of the strides he's made in such a short space of time.
Borna's US Open boys victory saw him reach the junior #1 ranking. However, shortly after, he and his team decided to leave the junior circuit behind. Below the main ATP Tour, the less glamorous world of ITF, Challenger and Futures Tours are the breeding ground for aspiring young tennis stars. The ultimate goal for Borna will be to translate his success in the juniors to senior level.
If they're ready to do it, you've got to get them in the men's game as soon as possible. You know, I don't see the point in hanging around in juniors. It's not realistic, and they have to start getting it really stuck in. And of course, it's a very tough road, and he's nowhere near the finished article, and he has to understand that there's still a long way to go and a hell of a lot more hard work to go. You know, if you don't have that hunger for it and wanting to learn and develop, I think for any player, no matter how talented they are, it will be hard for them to be a successful player, especially in this day and age, because you need so many attributes. You know, it takes more than just ability in the modern game.
Borna made his full ATP Tour debut in Croatia last July, but it was 2 months later that he got his first taste of top-level men's tennis when he was selected to represent his country in the Davis Cup. Playing against Great Britain, Borna was a surprise choice to play the first singles match against two-time Grand Slam champion Andy Murray. The teenager lost in straight sets, but showed why he's regarded as such an outstanding prospect.
It was a really great experience, and I'm very happy to have had the chance to play a top player, as it made me realise how much harder I need to work. It made me see that I'm still far away from my goal. Competing with these sorts of players, I want to use that experience to build something even bigger for the future.
Borna's performances last season saw him achieve his goal of reaching the top 400 in the ATP rankings. In the short and long term, both player and coach believe that he can make the grade at the top of men's tennis.
Next season, I want to get into the top 250 in the world. That would be a huge achievement, but of course I know it's going to be tough. Getting into the top 250 would mean I would have the chance to play in the Grand Slams, and that's my main goal.
I think if he keeps developing the way he is, I generally think he could be a world-class tennis player. You know, I have that belief in him. You don't know what can happen, but certainly I think he's got the capability of being a serious contender.
To date, Goran Ivanisevic remains the only Croatian man to have won a Grand Slam singles title. Borna Ćorić will be aiming to emulate his idol in the years ahead as he looks to become the next big thing in men's tennis.
Subscribe now to our YouTube channel for the very best of Trans World Sports.